everyone. I hope you're in good spirits. Today I'm going to do a video on the Bruce Lee reaction. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's Noongar Bruce Lee, so it's Bruce Lee talking Noongar and his pals, all his Asian mates talking Noongar, and yeah, we'll get a reaction. I haven't watched this yet, so this one should be fun. Alright, let's get going. Yeah, Noongar Bruce Lee, Fists of Fury, Noongar Da. I don't know what Da means, but yeah, let's play it. He was a great martial arts master. He did countless heroic deeds in Noongar. So countless heroic deeds in Noongar. He was the Bridia. I love that one. So dubbed in the Australian language, not the not the Meneng or the Noongar language, the Australian language of Noongar. That's interesting.
Fist of Fury Noongar Da is the first.
Is that aligning our language with the term Australian?
First feature film anywhere in the world to be dubbed into one of the languages originally from this place, now called Australia.
Nuna Wamwa. Kanan. Nyan Yuat Wan Bal Ma Karang.
Wasn't afraid of the Fist of Fury, but they were missing something. He did the wah, where's it?
Kaya nganang kwel Kylie Bracknell Kylie Gilbert Carden ngan artistic associate Alicia Kwop Corinth Perth Festival. I think every blackfellow around the country loves Bruce Lee and is drawn to martial arts. As one of my favourite uncles in Barry Maguire says, he looked to Bruce Lee like he was a real everyday superhero today.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So I know Barry, I've met him a few times, and yeah, I had a cousin who thought he was Bruce Lee.
He didn't need the green screens, he didn't need any special effects because he did everything. He was the superhero. And I guess in a time where Aboriginal people in their own country weren't even considered citizens in the 60s, and then to have...
Yeah, I don't know why that reference is coming into our art and our styles, especially the historic "oh poor us" reference. It shouldn't be there.
Fist of Fury be released in '72. It's the first non-Anglo lead action hero, superstar actor that they're seeing on screen. The physicality I've always felt is akin to the physicality of our athletes in a traditional setting, our hunter-gatherers who are ripped.
I don't know if they were athletes, maybe they were, men. Went through the law.
And completely fit and knew the terrain that they were working with, were agile, smart, intelligent on the ground. I would say that Noongar language...
Is that even, I was wondering if anyone can tell me, is that a Noongar film? Or is that Noongar way of hunting? Because, yeah, I don't know. I think it's they've taken that snapshot of hunting from a different area.
Which has survived through the incredible adversity of amazing leaders in our community, most of which are deceased now. There are so many Noongar families that have somehow, miraculously, I think, managed to keep our language strong enough to maintain its hum.
Yeah, and that's the key, I guess. A lot of them want to go back to the old language set. I think it's a very handy thing to know. Just generic recognition. worries me because there isn't a lot of people that are being recognised. Not all the elders are doing language set. I mean, that's just false. There is a set group, and that group are very, very dedicated and love to display language. It's going to be interesting to see when I show my elder who's doing the language sets and getting her understanding of where this is really going.
Baal buka, bakit berdia? Bolarang baal, wardakatak.
And to me, just from hearing this, it seems to be a language set just being repeated.
Neja karet nyongara. Koramech kobech baal. Neja karet ma ana jing mo yara kenya baman.
I'm grateful for the supportive team that have been a part of this project to help maintain the wonderful integrity around this being an incredible ambassador for keeping languages safe and current and present and appreciated and embraced and respected and accessible for our next generation to access and be proud of. It is a language...
It kind of seems to be a real contradiction there. She's using a culture or a tradition which is Bruce Lee's martial arts and completely putting a language set to it that is foreign even to Bruce Lee. I mean, it's just crazy. We'll keep watching it and see how we go. At the moment, I just feel like turning it off and going, I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, is it appropriate?
That keeps our vibration strong through songs, through ceremony, through relationships of us and nature, and honouring. And that may sound very cliche, but it is about honouring life in a way that we look to be...
It's language set was not... that language was taught to us by those who claim us. It is not a celebration. It can be argued it's a celebration of life, but these guys, the Noongars, lived that life, and they had to get through a very difficult period. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'd truly appreciate the language set being displayed this way.
Preventative with things rather than cure things later. So the process of translating Fist of Fury from Cantonese to Noongar, it was a little intense, and because it was new ground and it hadn't happened before, it probably exceeded the hours that we originally predicted it would take to cross-check the English version and to, I guess, revert a lot of that text back to the original Cantonese meanings to ensure that we're not taking any liberties from a creative standpoint.
And what they've got to understand is that Noongar is a very, very emotion-based language as well. So not only is it interpreted through the voice box, it is also conveyed through emotion.
And sometimes in the intense recording sessions, I would have to make calls to Roma Yibyang Winmar, who was our editor for the Noongar translations or interpretive translations.
Nia Nuna.
Ngan chen chen.
Once we got into the studio to record with the voice cast, we would look at the footage, and to honour the on-screen performers, we would try to match their mouth movements as seamlessly as possible, because we did not want this to be comedic in any way, shape or form. We wanted to honour the original story.
Bad with Darapinwa? Nyarda nyarda, Bujarak nyong.
However you need to get the quickness of the line or the consonants. We had a screening in Margaret River for NAIDOC Week, and there was a non-Noongar man who came up to me after the screening and said, "Hey Kylie, I've got to tell you, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. I've seen Fist of Fury probably about 4 times now. I've got to say, it's not until now that I..."
He's a big fan of Bruce Lee. He's only seen Fist of Fury 4 times. Come on, man.
Understand what the story's about. And that's wonderful feedback to hear from a die-hard Bruce Lee fan. And I think it has a lot to do with our subtitles and the way that we have honoured...
Interesting. So Barry
Fan.
was the
And I think
Barry was the senior Noongar artist and advisor on this, and then here we got Ernie Dingo as well, hosting the festival. So yeah,
has a lot to do with our subtitles and the way that we have honoured both the Noongar but kept the actual original plot line of the story. Because you see, the English version of the film takes liberties, and it kind of makes Bruce Lee's character in Chen Jian look like he's just vindictive, or there's vengeance to be had. They completely miss the grieving. They miss the drive for justice. They miss all of that point in the English recording or dub of it, but also the subtitling. Some of the unique challenges were, for example, in Cantonese they would say like your fifth eldest brother.
Karamba.
They would list them in rankings, and
yeah, your fifth eldest brother, it's just your brother. Yeah.
that is specifically, I guess, for the Kung Fu hierarchy. We needed to find a way to honour that in Noongar because we don't have that term.
Ngor bria moking. Nada wari nana. Ngan kanan barang jinang.
Made some really joyful discoveries, I suppose, in the Noongar vocab documents that we have, and also discussing it with Annie Roma. We found words that we didn't know for younger brother, for example. You could say one word and it can mean quite a lot. I think that's because...
A bit confused. I mean, they're just saying Noongar elders. I'd really love to know more about the area that they're originally from and who claims them and what the estate is.
We need the body language to accompany that, and also the emotion, the energy. One of the voice casts after the Perth world premiere called me over, and he just looked at me and his face changed like this. Tears rolled down his eyes and just hugged me, pulled me in and gave
Yeah, I don't know. It's
me a big hug and just said, "You did that. You got me to talk my language." I can't believe it. Hearing myself talk my language. So, our language celebrates life. Not just life, but how we are connected to that. Everything's intertwined. Gosh, I love our language so much. What's not to celebrate in that? You tell me.
So yeah, it's that's an interesting one. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you agree with it, or do you disagree with it? Is it just basically because it's advancing our language? I mean, let's face the facts. What percentage of Noongar people actually still speak the language? I mean, yeah, okay, it's big up here in Wajak land, but I don't know. Yeah, was it an original sounding dialect from me? No, I mean, I had my grandfather used to speak to me in our language, the Meneng language, the Noongar language, and it sounded completely different. It was a very beautifully spoken language and sounded very Latinish, and but there you go. I mean, Bruce Lee speaking Noongar. My opinion is it's good for preservation. Yeah, maybe our own people should be speaking it face to face. I don't see a lot of that. And do we really need other people speaking our language? I mean, it's personal to us. It's very personal to us. And there's a lot of cultural paradoxes associated with that. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. I think it's a lot of self promotion, so to speak. Yeah, okay, but yeah, language. Yeah, I mean, do they understand who originally created the language? Was it people, or was it spoken somewhere else? That's the big point, and yeah, it's an interesting one. Tell me what you think, guys, and yeah, because I'm not even half and half. I'm like 25 the rest, 25 against it, for it, the rest against it, 75 against it. Don't know. It's up to you. If you think it's a good idea, yeah. I would have liked to have seen Noongar language and then them doing a comedy short with the Noongar people in it. I think that would have been better. Bruce Lee. Yeah, I don't know. And a lot of the language just repeated itself over and over and over. So yeah, well done. Great work. It's what we need to see, but yeah, the direction it's going.